So today we're going to take this IKEA dresser that we picked up on the curb and we're going to upcycle it into a beautiful piece using a cutting edge stencil's Breezy Palm stencil. First thing we're going to do is remove the knobs or any hardware and give it a wipe down and remove any grease or grime. Okay, so I wiped down the piece the best I could. Now I'm going to go and fill any of these deep divots that we have here with some hole filler. Come back in about a half an hour. That should be good enough to sand and prime. This is a professional grit sandpaper here that has the open pattern. I put mine on a handle like this because the unit's very flat, and I'm just going to give the whole unit a good sanding. I've dusted it. I'm giving it a quick final wipe down. Okay, it's time to prime. So we're priming for a couple reasons. One reason is to get great adhesion on this surface so all of our paint stick really good. And the other reason is to block out any, say, water stains or stains that might be in the wood or in the finish that could bleed through our finish. So we're blocking those out now. Okay, primer's dry. It's time to put on the base coat, and I'm putting on 2 coats of my 1 hour enamel antique villa. I'm using my 4-inch dense foam roller. It leaves a very smooth surface. I did take the drawers out because we're doing those in a different color. The stencil we're using is a reverse stencil, which means that we're actually painting the background color. Okay, we finished our antique villa base coat on the dresser itself. Now the drawers are going to get a Higgins Lake, and I'm going to use the 4-inch dense foam roller again. It might be 2 to 3 coats on the drawer fronts themselves. Okay, here's our Breezy Palm stencil. We're about to get started. I've got my beautiful Wise Owl 1 hour enamel, my 4-inch dense foam roller. Okay, I'm gonna offload onto the paper towel so I don't have too much paint. And we're gonna come right up here and go to town. Light to medium pressure, don't over-roll, don't go outside the edges here, pay attention. Okay, let's peel this, see what we've got, just beautiful. And now we're going to use the built-in registration system, which is right here. This shape right here is going to align with this shape right here. And now it'll be aligned and ready for the next print. Okay, I'm going to fill in the top area here with this top edge stencil. So I line it up with my previously painted areas, tape that in place, and I'm ready to stencil this area right here. Okay, we've got the front stenciled. I'm now going to unmask. We want to protect this beautiful piece of artwork here, so we're going to use 2 coats of Wise Owl 1 hour enamel satin clear. And the last step is adding the hardware.
Today we're going to be upcycling a lovely chest of drawers. I wanted a really bright white to go under the decoupage. So for that I'm using Nordic Chic. So I'm going to be using the Posh Chalk Infuser to glue my decoupage paper onto the surface, and I'm just going to do it a section at a time, getting a nice thick coat on, and that's as far as I'm going to go. And then I'm coming in with a dry brush and I'm starting in the middle and just coming out to the side there. And if I do get some crinkles, I can always lift it up to get those wrinkles out. And then I'm going to show you how it goes into the groove there. So you can really play about with this decoupage paper. It's got a special flex in it, so it does curve round corners and it's very tough. So now I'm going to come in and seal that. So now that the decoupage is nice and dry, I'm going to come in and cut so that I'll be able to open the drawers up. Now you must do this when it's dry. If you do it whilst it's wet, you will rip the paper. So now we're going to add some Would You Bend mouldings to the piece of furniture. We're going to start off with our fabulous trim TR718. Always use a good quality wood glue when you're doing your Would You Bend mouldings. I'm using Type Bond. Bring it right up to the edge there. When you're using the trims, always try and keep them coiled up. It just helps them retain the heat. And then come in with my Stanley knife and just snip it at the bottom. Now if I do get a rough cut, I can come back in when it's cooled down and just sand it. If you do cut your trims a little bit short, don't worry about it because you can stretch them a little bit. So warm them up again. If it's nice and warm, you can just stretch it up. We do say in general that the trims will stretch around 10%. Because I've sanded it all down, I didn't want to lose that lovely wood feel. So I'm going to use the Push Chalk metallic pastes, and I'm using deep gold, and we're just going to give it a wash. So I'm spraying the surface. You can turn them into just about whatever consistency you like. So I'm going to now come back in with a baby wipe and just wipe a little bit of it back so you can still see the wood grain. Still the Push Chalk metallic paste, but I'm coming in with a darker colour now. Pastes really do go well with papers for blending purposes when you want to blend them in. So I'm just going to go around the whole piece of the furniture now, just blending the pastes in to the surface and in with the decoupage paper. Decided that on the top I'm going to do a wash in the black carbon, but it's looking a bit dim to me, so I'm just coming in with some Push Chalk metallic paste, and this is the green phthalo. And I'm just thinking that it's going to tie in with the patterns and colours on the paper. So now we're going to be doing some stenciling with the Push Chalk stencils. They're heat resistant, they're nice and thick, and this is Solly's lace. I'm going to decant some of the copper in there and some silver. So I'm going to be using the Push Chalk infuser, and it is also an external sealer. I think this is nice and dainty to pop on the sides. I'm going to dry brush the mouldings now with the pigment, keeping my brush relatively vertical over the surface, brighten the piece up a little bit. I'm going to be using the corner 1449. These are our 3rd generation wood you bend mouldings. Now what does that mean? That means that we have higher compression rates. The detail on the moulding is a lot sharper, and that's it, we're finished.
I wanted to make my own modelling paste for this, so I'm using cornstarch, I'm using Elmer's PVA, this is school glue. You can use any glue that you've got, but because not all glues are created equal, you may have to adjust your ratios. So I put 2 spoons of cornstarch and 2 spoons of Elmer's glue. Work it in together until it really is quite stiff, and that's what we're looking for. If it doesn't feel stiff enough, just keep adding cornstarch. And to that, I'm going to add a little bit of paint. I'm going to use this really lovely mandala stencil that I've got, which just happens to fit perfectly on this square table. So going very carefully, I'm now going to apply it. It's quite thick, but it does seem to be going on okay. So now the whole stencil is covered, and now for the moment of truth. Very, very, very carefully lift this off. Few little bleed throughs, but not too bad at all. Oh, I think that looks okay. I'm happy with that. I have tried using these kind of kitchen items before for doing raised stenciling, and they just haven't been stable enough for me. But the addition of the glue makes a huge difference. This is the next day now. I left it overnight to dry, and it's absolutely rock hard. If you listen to the sound, it's so hard, I can't believe it. And even trying to use a blade on it and scraping it away, it is not budging. So I think this is a really good alternative to buying texture medium. I have actually also sanded it very lightly. This is 1000 grit sandpaper, and there were just a few little kind of sticky up bits, little rough bits. So I've sanded it very, very lightly with that, and then wiped away the dust with the microfiber cloth. Okay, just going to give it one coat and then see how that looks. Okay, I'm going to leave that to dry now, and then I'll decide afterwards if I need to do another coat. And here's my table, all finished. I did put a second coat of paint over my stencil. I decided it needed it when the first one had dried, But just look how subtle this little design is on this tabletop. And all that with cornstarch and glue. It's really amazing. I love how this table's turned out. I'm not top coating mine because the general finish milk paint I've used does not require it. This table will not get a lot of use. If you're using a chalk based paint, you will need to top coat it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and I have inspired you to have a go. I'm Julie McDowell. I'll see you next time.